So you're saying that lead can protect against radioactivity? So could you say that because these previous substances are radioactive and then as they break down, it produces a substance which is not radioactive, but it can protect against radioactivity? Could you say that this property has just changed, that it's kind of a similar property, but it's just altered?
I see where you're going with that, and I spent I had a lot of fun writing this paper because I got to study a bunch of physics and try to catch myself up to some pretty high-tech stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, no, I don't think that the property has changed, because then again, if you can allow lead to go through beta decay and it will turn into progressively other substances which are further and further from the protection of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely understand where your question comes from, and I think that the answer might be that since lead it comes directly from a radioactive substance, it might be somehow that the chemicals, because there's the substances that are radioactive have whatever chemical compound that makes them up that protects them from their self, I guess. And so then lead is not radioactive, but I think that it still has enough of that basic composition that it's still strong against radioaction, and that's radioactivity, and that's why we try to use it, or that's why we do use it in things like the vest at the dentist and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Excellent question.
Are you implying that babies aren't humans in your first example?
Some aren't.
What was my first?
Because it was the human and the human doing the human things, and then there was an alien.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that. It's this probably isn't the best example. It'd probably be better if I had this plus this equals a plant, or probably not even a plant, like a table. But I didn't think that would be directly people would be oh yeah, I see what he's talking about. It's I figured I'd probably spend more time answering the questions than explaining the point.
Gotcha.
So, and plus I had just watched a Men in Black marathon.
That would do it.
So you're thinking of consciousness as an emergent property then, right? So with your, the two people and then the baby, right? The idea is that there was nothing, it's something over and above what was already there, right? And that's how you got this alien baby, right?
Absolutely. I think that perhaps it's definitely an emergent property, which is when it's kind of like the exhaust, I guess, of how our bodies work, and they create this exhaust. What is consciousness? What is emergentism? But I feel like there's definitely some causal power in the emergent property, which I think differs from the typical view.
Yes, so epiphenomenalism is a bit you're worried, right? As an emergentist, you don't have to be worried about that. Oh, it's not going to do anything, right? Sorry. So that was what I was going to ask you, though, right? So your idea is 1 plus 3 equals 4, and you're thinking of it as a kind of relationship between all the different parts. And I guess, because there's a couple different ways that could be, right? It could be, it's a relationship, but it's nothing over and above what's already there, right? It's just a different way of describing so it's emergent in the sense that it's easier to talk about it this way, right? In the same way that Dennett kind of talked about it in our class, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could have the idea that it's emergent in this different kind of way where there's something new about it, and I just wanted you to speak more if you...
Okay, yeah, I definitely think that, I think I understand your question. So I feel like there is something new about it, like that the fourth relationship in the wheel isn't just a new way to talk about like since we have all these relationships and they all add together in this complex way, it's just easier to talk about it as if it's a fourth relationship. That's what I don't think. I think that it's the way in which they interact that creates this non-physical thing that's it appears out of, and like I say at the beginning, it causes a disruption in the causal chain of events, and that doesn't make sense. And I can't pretend to try to explain why this makes sense to me, but this is how I think, is that this thing just bloop, and then the 3 people walk away and it's and it's who knows, it probably doesn't go anywhere. It just is, and then it isn't. It's just it appears and it disappears as these properties and different components of things interact with each other. And perhaps that's the subject for another paper, is where do these things go and where do they come from?
So I'm sorry, do you think that there's the possibility for consciousness outside of human life? Because what you're talking about is the whole 1 + 2 = 4. The combination of these different components that independently could not do anything. If these components are combined to create something that has the objective of consciousness, do you think there is a possibility of anything else being able to create that? Or if it is just the human mind that has a body surrounding it and ATP energy fed into it so that it is able to fuel itself?
I think absolutely other things, other existences are capable of consciousness. I think that probably we're just not on the perceptual awareness to recognize it. I mean, we barely even can understand what our own consciousness is, and let alone trying to move the concept of consciousness onto these other things and look for properties that we're not even sure what we're looking for in ourselves, right? So yeah, I think that's definitely possible, and I think it's more than possible. I think it's an existent thing that we have no clue how to look for yet.
Thank you, Sarah.